This is Surtr, one of the most powerful and beloved characters in Arknights. Yet despite the undeniable popularity of the character both inside and out of the game, she has very little story. In fact, in terms of lore, she's the #1 most neglected character in the game, with less than 500 words in her dedicated story event. That's right, the one character that has bested the plague of power creep since September of 2020 has no story to tell to this day. It's funny because besides a story and a module, she has everything else that a normal popular character would have, and more. Most characters have one skin, so it's not that special, but 2 skins is far more unheard of, let alone an L2D skin. Surtr also has an official Nendoroid figurine and 3 scaled PVC figures. Hypergriff went through more effort contracting a sculptor for each of the figures than her lore. And don't forget, at least for JP, she's voiced by a well-known voice actor. And these two don't really connect. Lots of fan art on Pixiv. We're talking thousands upon thousands of wholesome pictures of ice cream consumption. But you know what? It's perfectly reasonable that they have something ready for her. And I don't mean just a couple paragraphs from her module, hopefully. There's a good reason why I say this, so just bear with me. Even though we have little information about her, there's enough to set up a seriously good event, heavily focused on her. Let me give you some background. Rhodes Island finds Surtr chilling in a collapsed building during one of her expeditions of finding clues. By the way, this is sort of funny since she seems pretty picky about clean places, and out of all the places to stay, a destroyed building was her choice. Anyway, she's in quite the pickle. We bring her back to the ship to find out she's got a weird case of amnesia, or rather, her memories are jumbled up, overlapping each other and going crazy. These memories of hers consist of different lives she's lived in the past. She's got memories of being in totally different places around Terra and personal relationships with seemingly random people. Some speculate she's just claiming other experiences as her own, which is entirely possible. She's starting to sound like my crazy ex. You know, when she brings up the memory like, "Remember when we shoveled my grandma's driveway all throughout winter?" I don't know why she sounds like that. And you're like, wait, what do you mean we? You mean when I shoveled while you sat at home watching YouTube? Alright, sorry, back to Surtr. So, due to this amnesia, she goes to the location she finds in the shards of her memories to find clues about herself. There are tons of these locations, so many in fact that it's probably impossible to travel to them all within her lifetime. She doesn't seem to care though. Also, if we look at the text in the promotional record, it implies that she's interacted with the Seaborn and the snowfields far up north. Again, just implications. Another peculiar thing I wanted to point out was, despite not having any obvious connection to Originium arts, she's got some serious firepower. No, I mean it. In her records, it says that the heat released from the blade wand thing is so insanely hot that it can melt most substances. They kind of brush it across here, but that's incredibly powerful and dangerous. We're okay with it though. There are far more dangerous tools of mass destruction within Rhodes Island that we should be worrying about. And I know gameplay isn't canon, but let's say this is a special case. Surtr, with the power of her trait, Remnant Ash, can bring about annihilation even in death. Or retreat if we're taking what happens in the game literally, but that's not as exciting. Or is it? I just have this image of her being retreated from the battlefield after burning up, and the doctor gives her some ice cream like, "Here you go, take your time." She's like, "Yeah, whatever," and just sits on a boulder to eat some ice cream. Everyone's out there getting their asses beat. Anyway, I like to think her eating ice cream to cool down is much like how Frost Nova ate spicy candy to warm herself up. It's a wholesome tie that the devs probably didn't even think about, let's be real. Let's pivot over to some interesting facts I found while researching Levatine, the name of her first skill and likely the name of her sword wand thingy. So it's no question that the key to her past lies in that sword. Just the fact that she's had it since the beginning and it's been a quote, indispensable companion since. It's enough to make it of vital importance. Levatine is a cool name for a weapon and it means wand of destruction, or better yet, damage twig. Damage twig. That's the most humble name you could possibly give this thing. So in Norse mythology, this Danger Stick is the only thing that can slay the great golden cock, Vidofnir. Apparently, Vidofnir is a pretty bad bird, bringing endless afflictions to the land and just being an outright cocksucker. Great, so why doesn't Surtr just go kill his ass and bring peace to the world? Well, it's not that easy. You see, Vidofnir typically resides at the top of Mima's tree, better known as Yggdrasil, although that's still being debated, which is the very tree that is completely immune to iron and fire. Alright, Eisen, thank you for the history lesson, but what does this mean to Arknight's lore? Well, nothing. But if I can make a unconfirmable connection, I see it as, no matter how powerful Surtr is or gets, there's one thing she cannot overcome. Life itself. Sure, her enemy is perfectly weak to her sword, and her sword only, but the bird sits at the top of the world tree. What good is a weapon that cannot reach its target? I just hope references of this message is told within the lines of her story, if they ever release it, damn it. Come on, devs, let me take some credit here, yo. No, but seriously, devs, feel free to take any idea from my video and make a dedicated event for Surtr. We all know, okay, I've listed a ton of reasons why an event dedicated to your ice cream goddess is a fantastic investment. Just give me like 5 to 10% cut and we'll be good. Just DM me and we can talk. I'd like to close with a final fascinating fact that I found out about Surtr, just so that the devs feel compelled at this point to give her something. So in the CN server, she has a couple nicknames, and one of them is 42. Not only is this a pun from her pronunciation in Chinese,
Surtr 42.
her DP cost is coincidentally 21 at Elite 2, meaning after you've retreated her twice, which I assume is very likely, her cost doubles to 42. It goes even further than that, this is a connection I made, that the number 42 is associated with a sort of a meme, an answer to the ultimate question of life and everything. So that's perfect for Surtr, who was the answer to every difficult stage back then. What do you think? I'm talking to the lore enjoyers out there. Would it be cool to see an event dedicated to Surtr this year, or are you indifferent? Yeah, Surtr doesn't have the most attractive personality, but with a little loving push from the devs, she could become a fan favorite outside of her looks and gameplay. That's it. See you on the next one, and most importantly, don't forget I called it.